Hi, welcome to the video lecture of Department of Robotics and Automation. Myself, I'm Krishna Kumar. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Robotics and Automation. So in today's section, we are going to see about how we are going to getting started with Raspberry Pi. So the main element that we are going to see today's section is we are going to see the hardware functionality, and we are going to see how the software is going to be embedded in the hardware, and we are going to see map all those applications towards the robotics and automation domain. So when you look into the basic components of Raspberry Pi, we have around the USB port, then we have a DSP display port, and we have a wireless Bluetooth, micro HDMI cable. We have two micro HDMI, 0 and 1. Then we have F, which is a system on chip. G, we have a dedicated 40-pin GPIO, that is a general purpose input and output pin. Then we have a RAM. Then we have a camera port in which we are going to interface the camera. Then we have a 3.5 mm audio jack. Next we have two dedicated USB for dedicated function, and we have a Ethernet port for connecting the internet connectivity. Next, when we go into understanding the core of Raspberry Pi system on chip. So in the traditional computer, we have CPUs and GPUs, both are separate components, but when in the Raspberry Pi, they are combined into a single compact and power efficient. So this CPU acts as the brain of the computer, performs the calculation and the performing tasks. So GPU handles all the visual outputs. This integrated design makes the Raspberry Pi an ideal for small scale computing and embedded projects. Next, when you look into the system on chip, so a great example is RC3A0 system in package that is found in Raspberry Pi 02W. It combines a Broadcom BCM2710A1 silicon die. So it has around 512 MB of RAM into a single chip. So this processor is 64-bit quad-core ARM Cortex A53 CPU. It is running under 1 GHz. With the cooling, it can be overclocked to 1.2 GHz, delivering an extra performance for demanding tasks. So when you look into this Raspberry Pi's random access memory, so it is temporarily stores the data while the programs are running. For permanent storage, like we go for a micro SD card, which stores the OS and user files. So this design keeps the Raspberry Pi more affordable and compact. So when you look into the radio module, so it has an inbuilt radio module that is used for a wireless communication. So it supports Wi-Fi and Bluetooth for connecting the peripherals, and it is used for Internet of Things applications. Next, we will look into the power management integrated circuit. So it manages the voltage conversion. It takes the power from a USB Type-C port and supplies all the required voltage to all the components of the Raspberry Pi. So next is a very important component that we are going to discuss is like we have a camera module. So we have an inbuilt camera module that is a jack. So this camera module interface allows you to connect the camera module for capturing the high quality images and videos. It is widely used in applications like computer vision, security surveillance, and robotic systems. So this is a very important component of Raspberry Pi. So we have around 40 general purpose inputs and outputs. So this allows the interaction with external components like LEDs, buttons, motors, and sensors. So which is a very important component when you take about robotics and embedded applications. So this is one of the examples for Raspberry Pi 0. So Raspberry Pi has the different models. So Raspberry Pi 0 is a compact and suitable for minimal and wearable projects. So model A offers a balance between a size and performance. So this is one of the Raspberry Pi 0A model. So it has inbuilt functions like CPU, GPUs, and it is a starting version of Raspberry Pi. So when you have the comparison of Raspberry Pi, it has a different models. The model starting from Raspberry Pi 1 Model A, and the latest edition is the Raspberry Pi 0. So the main thing is that it has the RAM capacity. The RAM capacity getting different of RAM capacities. Just now we have seen with Raspberry Pi, this is an Asset Tinker board. This is one of the competitors in the market. So when we compare them both in the market, so it has a slight deviation. So the processor that we use in this Raspberry Pi is similar. So only the brand getting differed. So another competitor in the market is Beagle Black. Similar to that of previous Raspberry Pi. So they both are same. Beagle Black and Raspberry Pi are the same processor that what we use. So when you are going to setting up configuring the board, this is a very important component. For setting up a Raspberry Pi board, we need a Raspberry Pi board. We need an external SD card, we need a USB power cable, and we need a HDMI cable and a keyboard and a mouse. So mostly preferable is the wireless keyboard and a mouse that can be used for that will be very most effective one. So this is the bottom part and the top part. So if you look into the bottom part, we have a dedicated SD card socket, so where we will insert this SD card after the programming. So here is the SD card, as I mentioned previously. So this is the slot where we are going to insert the micro SD card. So a HDMI cable that is connected for displaying purpose, inbuilt slot that is USB power cable that is used for powering up of the Raspberry Pi. So here is the power cable. So the slide shown here is like this Raspberry Pi board supports the 5 volt supply with a 2 amps. So that we can be connected. Either you can connect with a monitor that is following this one. So here we have a HDMI cable. In order to view what is happening there, we can connect to the monitor with the help of the HDMI cable. So all the operations that we carried out here that can be viewed with the help of the monitor. So commonly used software for Raspberry Pi operating system is Raspbian OS and NUX. We have a SD card formatter for formatting and uploading of this OS. We have a Win32 disk imager and footage. So these are essential, the prerequisite essential for setting and configuring of the Raspberry Pi board. So first of all, when you look into SD card formatter, so SD card formatter needs to first of all, before installing the OS, imaging of the OS, so we need SD card formatter. First we need to format all the files that is inbuilt in the SD card. So we need an SD card that can be of the minimum capacity of an SD card record is 4 GB. So if you look into the 4 GB, it supports like Raspberry Pi B+, Raspberry Pi 2 model and Raspberry Pi 0. So the minimum SD card is record is 4 GB. So here is how SD card formatter works. Here you have to choose the location, and then you have to choose the option. Then if you click format, automatically all the data that is inbuilt in the SD card gets formatted. So, how we can download this Raspbian and NUX OS that it can be downloaded in a zip file. So you can you can just click on the link here. So we can directly move towards the website. So this is how the zip file getting downloaded. So once it gets downloaded, we need to install Win32 disk imager. So this disk imager is going to flash the OS into this SD card. So here is how Win32 disk imager looks like. So first of all, you have to locate the location where the zip file has stored. Then you have to locate the device, okay, where the image is located. And if you click the icon right into SD card, automatically the OS that has been stored inside this getting uploaded into the disk. So next, finally, our operating system has been flashed into this SD card. The final next step is the very important step is like we need to insert that SD card into Raspberry Pi 3. Next is we are coming with the testing with the television or HDMI cable. So here it will look like after when we switch it on the Raspberry Pi board, if you look into that, this is the last stage where we can able to, it's similar to that of a Windows. So where you can surf and you can hear music and you can play games and you can able to run Python programming in this Raspberry Pi board. So one of the common example of using Raspberry Pi board is here is we have used LED blink with the help of the push button. So here I used a resistor of 470 ohms into the LED. So this is the GPU to drive the outputs, and this is the inbuilt Python program that is used. So if you look into the Python program, we have the basic installation of the Python. We are going to define what build configuration it is, and we are going to declare what type of cycles that is required, and we are going to declare the basic input and output port of the GPU. Then we are going to set the programming. So this is used in Python programming. So we come to the end of the section. So thank you for the time. For today's section, we have seen about how we can able to interface the Raspberry Pi with the television. So hope today you have enjoyed the section. Thank you.